5 races remain in the 2025 Northern Talent Cup season, including race 2 here at Brno. The title cannot be won today by Finn Kratochvil, but he did make it a super 7th victory of the season yesterday in what was a fantastic opening duel in NTC in the Czech Republic. An array of leaders and battles all the way through the 8-rider group at the front. It was all decided by less than a 1/10 of a second on the run to the line. With home hopefuls going strong, title rivals trying to keep the championship alive and records in the offing, NTC Race 2 ready to start your Grand Prix Sunday here at Brno, and battles are going to be aplenty. It was close yesterday, and can it get much closer today? Well, the Czech Republic has already hosted the closest finish of the season earlier on in the year at Most, and who'd bet against that Brno is back with a bang on the calendar and back with an instant record. But they all chase the number 8 of Finn Kratochvil. Packed grandstands and hillsides here after 5 years away. It is fair to say that MotoGP's return to the Automotodrome Brno has been a successful one. Massive queues to get into the circuit from absolutely every single access point, and when we arrived it was already heaving with people, so for sure we are going to see a huge crowd here for the main event coming up at 2 o'clock local time later on. But it all starts here with the Northern Talent Cup. You're in the company of myself, Kiko Giles, and Elliot York alongside me to take you through this what is 11 laps here in the Northern Talent Cup. Finn Kratochvil yesterday, a fantastic ride. We've said it so many times throughout 2025, but it wasn't easy. He had to work hard, but a strategic masterstroke it was, El.
It certainly was. Good morning, Kiko. Good morning to everyone as well. Look at the hillsides here in the Czech Republic at Brno. Fantastic to see the fans piling in early doors to see the Northern Talent Cup boys and girls in action, and of course Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP coming up later on in the day. Beautiful conditions, it has to be said. 0 wind pretty much, 22 degrees, that's pretty much perfect for motorcycle racing. It's going to get much warmer later on, and these riders will have learnt a lot from yesterday into the unknown really in the conditions that we had in race 1. A little bit of a tactical race, a great fight at the front as well, and as you say, Kiko, Finn Kratochvil just unleashed the final couple of laps. We've got a problem at the exit of pit lane. Now, who is that?
That's
as we zoom in?
Nyland, I think, the number 88. I will.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Nyland. So that's a disaster for him, because remember back in the Sachsenring, he also fell on the sighting lap. So
yes.
Race 2 not being kind to Nyland there, the number 88.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks like, well, I'm not sure what's happened. I don't think he's crashed. There's just something's gone a little bit wrong with the Honda machine there. Hopefully he can get it back running and get back out and get the sighting lap completed. I think he's got a little bit of time to do that before pit lane closes. Maybe less than a couple of minutes. So try and get that bike fired back up and get yourself onto the grid. He's starting down in P20 on row 7 is Ruben Nyland. So not the best of starts this morning. Hopefully we do see the 88 lining up on the grid though, and there is your grid being formed at this moment in time. It was a fantastic race yesterday, and as we've just said, a very tactical race at that, and a 7th win of the season coming for Finn Kratochvil. Now, can anyone beat the young German? In the championship, I don't think so, but there's still races to be played for, including today, and Alessandro Binder on pole position was right in there from the off. He was very, very unlucky to maybe be a little bit mired in the middle of the race. He was pushed back towards 8th place, but going from pole, he will try to look to convert it. The number 85, his 2nd podium of the season yesterday as well. Tobias Kitzbichler, he has had 1 win, 4 podiums, but unlucky again yesterday. 2nd place for the 15-year-old from Austria. It is his P2 on the grid, his best of the season and best since the Sachsenring last year. P2 yesterday, will be looking to go 1 better in a few laps time. He certainly will be, yeah. Obviously P2 at the Sachsenring in race 2, P2 on the grid, P2 yesterday. today. Starting from P2 again today. He's liked and enjoyed P2 as Tobias Kitzbichler in recent times, and he tried his best, didn't he, on the run to the line, finished less than a tenth behind Kratochvil, the eventual race winner, of course. Took that wide sweeping line to try and get ahead of this rider, the number 8, but didn't quite manage to do it.
Didn't quite manage to do it indeed. 7 wins this season. The 14-year-old, one of the brightest talents coming through the German ranks, and there is a reason why everyone wants a picture with Finn Kratochvil. He has been in fine form.
Unstoppable, really, is the word I think we've got to use for Kratochvil in 2025. He's racing in the European Talent Cup. He's in the top 10 in the standings over in that series as well. A real bright star coming from Germany is the number 8, and he's going to take some stopping again today.
Roman Durdis is 4th on the grid, and very, very unlucky not to come away with a podium yesterday. 4th at the checkered flag.
Certainly was. He'll have been disappointed, but also really pleased. It was a personal best result of his Northern Talent Cup career. So the Czech rider leading from row 2, and he's got another Czech rider alongside him, Kiko.
Yes, his teammate Adam Viskachil, the number 79, dropped out of the top 10 yesterday. So a bit of a surprise perhaps for Viskachil, finishing 12th. But that second row start, hopefully giving him a bit of momentum in the early stage, and he can go with that lead group.
Yeah, a little bit of a better start, and I think he probably can. The second group, which made up of a gaggle of riders, were only 4 seconds off the victory. The top group was scrapping away, but also the riders behind as well, that was led by Filip Soroviak in P9. Then a few riders in that group were just 4 seconds away, so not too far off. Homework done overnight. See if they can get in that lead group today. T.S.
Wenzel in the 3rd place in the championship. He's 6th on the grid for this one. A big costly weekend last time out at the Sachsenring, and yesterday also not perhaps where he would have wanted to finish. It was P8 there for Wenzel in the lead group, and only half a second from victory, but it was P8 and 8 points nonetheless.
Yeah, unfortunately just lost out on that last lap, didn't he, Tyus Wenzel? Unfortunately, he finished half a second off the race win, and you don't even get a top 6. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately, sometimes in motorcycle racing in these types of races. He'll be wanting to stand on the podium, though, for the first time since Most.
Filip Soroviak, we just had a look at on the 3rd row there, finished in 9th place yesterday, very much the best of the rest. He'll be one of those riders who believes that if he can get a better start, we'll be able to go with that pack at the front.
Yeah, his first race in the Northern Talent Cup yesterday as well, and he's currently 2nd in the British Talent Cup, so viewers of the British Talent Cup will obviously know Filip Soroviak very well indeed. 4 wins so far in that series this year. He'll be hoping to add to that in the Northern Talent Cup.
Hungary's Tomas Lukács, the 15-year-old, goes from the middle of that 3rd row, top 10 yesterday, again wanting more for sure.
Another rider in that second group, he finished P10 just behind Filip Soroviak, so he'll be wanting more for sure. It's just all about that start. Can the riders behind get into that lead group and get a good start? And once you can stick with them for a few laps, then you're pretty much there for the whole race.
Victor Czech completing that 3rd row, couldn't score points yesterday, 21st place, but a 3rd row start puts him right in contention to try and stay in those points paying positions in this morning's 11-lapper.
Yeah, brilliant qualifying for his opening weekend of Northern Talent Cup action. First race yesterday, didn't quite manage to score any points, but a massive learning curve. He learnt plenty yesterday. Hopefully he can get inside that top 15 today, the young Czech rider.
Alessandro Binder it is, though, who goes from pole. Can he convert it this morning? It's warm here at Brno, and the track action is going to be fiercely hot as well. We've taken you through the front 3 rows of the grid, the top 9 places on this Northern Talent Cup starting grid. And don't forget, there are a few riders that came through yesterday that you can't discount. Anina Erlas being the main one, along with Robin Siegert. Siegert it is. Thank you for the pronunciation lessons on that. Someone in the YouTube comments, we do appreciate it, and if we can do it better, please do inform. Right through the order, we've seen Ruben Nyland in the middle of that 7th row already with problems. Now, I haven't seen him come back out onto the grid. There is a spot missing on that penultimate row, so Ruben Nyland looks like it's going to be the pit lane for the warm-up lap, and then it's going to be perhaps a back of the grid one. Just talking about the back of the grid, Domi Pekkanen, we mentioned it yesterday, should have been on pole. The conditions just catching him out. His lap was cancelled for track limits as well, so expect Pekkanen to come through the pecking order. No points yesterday, but a target for him today. The warm-up lap underway then. Kiko Giles here and Elliot York next to me. We're going to take you through this one, and it's going to be a real battle to get this one underway. That is the number 47 of Bezzati, I think, the Slovakian rider, so a disaster for him as well. Wheeled off the grid. That will be a pit lane start for Riccardo Bezzati.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Bezzati was going to go from P18, so 18th on the grid and 20th on the grid. Unfortunately, going to have to start from pit lane. Turn 3 is where they're rounding now. That was a hot spot of action yesterday. We did see Seeger getting a great start. He was up into P4 on that opening lap in the opening sector, really. Got a fantastic launch away from P12 on the grid. He's going to be wanting to do the same again. The rider second in the championship, of course. Race winner last time out at Germany. He was in that lead group but just missed out and finished P7. Lost, obviously, a whole chunk of points to title chase leader Kratochvil. But expect this to be a different kind of race, I feel, than yesterday. I think the pace is going to be pretty hot from the off, and look at the crowds.
Oh, fantastic, isn't it? They are going to be sun-soaked by the time this all is done at the end of the day. MotoGP, of course, the main event, and what a welcome back to the Czech Republic it has been here in Brno. A wonderful city to come racing, and please do, if you are thinking of doing a European away trip, come here, because it's not a bad one. And if the calendar works out in your favour, take in the Saxon Ring as well over the border in Germany. It's not too far to come. 30 degrees on track temperature. We're climbing through the 20s in air temperature, so it is hot out there. These will be the hottest conditions anyone's had all weekend. We've taken you through a load of riders, another few just to keep an eye out for. Valdemar Mellgren from Sweden on the Nordgren Racing Honda machine finished 11th yesterday, and he'll be looking to try and come through the order once again. Further down on the podium last time out at the Saxon Ring, and in a point scoring position yesterday, Smilla Gertlich, the second lady on the grid, so keep an eye on her. And also Swan Emprin from France on the Swan 96 Honda. They are all going to be coming through. Lorenzo Pontilla as well, the Belgian rider who was up in the podium battle last time out at the Saxon Ring. We're coming through the final couple of corners here in Brno. Elk predictions time. Who is it going to be? Can anyone stop Finn Kratochvil?
For the spectacle, you'd like to think so, but he's just looked so good, hasn't he? I'm going to go for Kitzbichler, though, on the number 38 machine. Starting from the middle of that second row, was P2 yesterday. He looked really, really strong. Didn't really drop outside the top 3 at all in yesterday's race. Who are you going to go for?
He certainly deserves it, doesn't he, Tobias Kitzbichler? Let's hope I actually get his name correct today on the run down to turn 1. My bet, I'm going to take yours from yesterday, Roman Durdis. I think he's going to be speared on by being denied a podium and go all out for victory. That's what they're all going to do here. 11 laps, 60-odd kilometres in length. Brno Grand Prix Sunday fires into life. It was another brilliant start from Alessandro Binder and another horror show from Tobias Kitzbichler. He has gone backwards, but moving forward, it's a carbon copy of race 1. Finn Kratochvil gets to turn 1 first, ahead of Alessandro Binder. Now they're making their way through turn 1. This is your first pinch point. We had a look at Filip Soroviak in the middle of the pack there trying to come through, and Ina Erlas has got her elbows out as well. Further down the middle pack, but down towards turn 3. Kratochvil leads at the moment, but it's Binder on the brakes who does a very good job and through into third place. Is that T.S. Wenzel? It is indeed. He finished 8th yesterday. He's already in the podium position today. Kitzbichler 4th on the exits of turn 4.
Seeger got another brilliant start from the edge of row 4. P12 up to P5, P6 around there. He was up inside that top 4 briefly, and it's a great start from the 75 of Soroviak as well. He started P7, finished outside of that lead group yesterday, but he gained plenty of confidence. So good start from the riders chasing that lead group from the early doors from back of the grid.
Durdis went from 4th to 7th as we slot our way through the stadium section. The crowd will be on their feet as racing gets underway here in the Czech Republic. Short, sharp boost from 7 to 8, and it's Binder who has the advantage ahead of Kratochvil. Kitzbichler has recovered somewhat into P3 at the moment. He's just ahead of Filip Soroviak. What a fine performance. He should have been racing last time out in Germany, of course, but was injured. He's still not 100%, but he's up there in 4th and making a brilliant name for himself. He's been a dominant force in the British Talent Cup, and now he's doing it in the Northern European Talent Cup as well. Through turn 10 at Schwartz corner, it is side by side up towards turn number 11. Oh, Binder be careful, don't be trying to win it all on the first lap. It's Crutchfield, though, who has a clear road ahead of him, as we've so often seen in 2025.
Yeah, and so often we saw yesterday. It was Kitzbühel in P2, Binder in third, and Anita Erlas on the 21 has made a good start as well from P10 on the grid. She had a lot of ground to make up in yesterday's race in the opening laps, had a phenomenal pace, setting 2:13s for fun, way faster than everyone else, and she's in that gaggle of riders just towards the back. There they are coming through screen now on the 21, Anita Erlas, a good start.
Slipstream City time as they come down to complete the first lap here. Finn Crutchfield, he's going to be punching a hole in the air, but he looks like he's got that number 8 Honda hooked up lovely and leads it and holds it all the way down in towards turn 1. But corner speed, who is that coming through? Is that Kitzbühel or was it Binder? I think it was Kitzbühel. Who's going round the outside? Surely not Kitzbühel. Well, he had an amazing opening lap in more ways than one back in the Sachsenring in race 2. He's not had a bad end of the first lap and starts to the second one here. Soroviak gets it all crossed up, and it's pick a line and try and thread the eye of the needle, leading the way. Binder resumes P1 from pole, but Soroviak has absolutely rocketed up the order, 7th to 2nd, and I don't think he's going to stop there.
How well did he get it? Stopped into turn 3 as well, got it all out of shape into the braking zone at turn 3. Thought he was going to shadow a move there. Erlas up the inside as well. She's slowly picking her way through the pack as well, into P5 already, but Soroviak, a rider to watch so far.
10th to 5th for Erlas. You can see what a jumbled up grid does, and Soroviak dives for the inside. Well, this is something pretty special indeed. Philip Soroviak in his debut weekend leads then in the Northern European Talent Cup, and what about this then coming through turn 8 and 9? Well, Philip Soroviak, NTC, BTC, he is the one to beat at the moment as 75 leads the charge down the hill towards the Schwartz corner.
Certainly is. Then Crutchfield back up into second place and make that P1 a great launch out of turn 9 down the hill into turn 10, and is that Kitzbühel up the inside of Soroviak as well. So leading out of the stadium section was the 75, the British Talent Cup rider, down to P3 already. He's got Binder behind him as well. He likes this corner, does Binder. Shadows a move up the inside. We saw this plenty yesterday, riding the curves on the inside as well, but that's going to cost you time on the exit. Now it's all about getting a good launch up Horsepower Hill, and it is Crutchfield that still leads the way once again.
He always finds his way to the front, doesn't he, the number 8 German rider? There's a reason he's got 7 wins in this season. He has been pretty spectacular. Kitzbühel just having a look up the inside there down into turn 13, but doesn't get it pulled down. We're coming through 14 now, the last corner. Crutchfield a little bit slow in the middle of the corner now, and that just allowed Kitzbühel maybe to get a run. And Anina Erlas is coming through as well. That's up into 4th place for her. Siegert's come flying through as well, the number 11 from the 4th row of the grid, as they all jockey for position. Bad news, Judo Di Napoli has had a jump start and a double long lap penalty to serve for it as well. The long lap penalty here, folks, over at turn 7. But as we just have a little look down the field here, let's take stock of the order. Crutchfield, Kitzbühel, Soroviak, Binder, Seeger, Durdis, Erlas, Rolin, Wenzel and Melgren. We have got an array of nationalities right the way through the order here. This is Northern Talent Cup at its absolute best. Seeger goes second behind Soroviak, who takes back over at the front.
Yeah, we patterned back there because Smilla Gertlich in 17th across the line. She set the fastest lap of the race at 2:14.0. The leaders are doing 2:15s and a mix of 2:14. So you can already see that this race is different to yesterday. A lead group of 5 or 6 broke clear then. The likes of Erlas caught up to the group later on. But look at this, you can see pretty much every single rider in shot, at least the points paying positions and more anyway. So the pace is a little bit slow at the start race yesterday. Maybe that's why there's a gaggle of riders, but clearly riders have pace in the low ends of the points and outside them. Gertlich now into P15. What can she do on this lap again?
Gertlich is the purple bike. You'll see it flash through the very back of shot if we get a nice wide shot down here into turn 10. It's the number 24 we're talking about. Just at the back behind the number 5 of Tamas Lukács. Up at the front, Kitzbühel. Oh, he followed Crutchfield right in there. It looked like Crutchfield had taken all his braking room, but I think Kitzbühel, he just loves to ride right up the rear end of the rider up ahead of him and leave no room for margin or for error. Bit of a bump and a boring. That was your teammates of Rolin, was it? Or was it Rolin and Durdis perhaps? So 5th and 6th, smoke coming out, Rapid is racing, and that's what we've got here at Brno.
Great racing then early doors in this battle at the front, and you can just see the top four after a little bit of a moment down at turns 11 and 12 that they've just broken clear slightly, but don't expect that to eke out so much, because these four are going to battle away. It's Kratochvil, Kitzbühel, Siegert, and who's behind him? It's Soroviak on the 75. Four very, very fast riders, but Anina Erlas is now P5 with a little bit of breathing space in front of her. Expect that to come down when they get a little bit of slipstream out of turn 2 and into turn 3.
And Binder has found himself down in 9th place, so your pole sitter and race leader at points in this race already, Alessandro Binder, the number 85, has got a little bit of work to do here, down in 9th place. He's got Vendel just behind him and Durdis just ahead of him. They come down towards turn 3. Who's it going to be? That's Binder on the inside, trying to shake, roll and roll his way through. That was almost very close indeed. I think he almost collected Erlas that time around, but he got a move done, and I think he's just gone back behind Durdis map, so it's a net gain of nothing perhaps for Alessandro Binder. He did pick one up, he got into 8th place, so not bad at all. He's making progress, but the problem is he should have been a little bit further up perhaps for someone who started from pole and was originally in this lead group. I think he may have been caught up a little bit in that turn 11 and 12 moment with Roland and Durdis, so unlucky for Binder. Now he's got to fight his way back through.
Certainly does. So over the line, the top 17 were covered by 2.2 seconds, top 18 were covered by 2.5 seconds, and watch out for Domi Pekkanen on the 46. Mentioned that he should have been on pole position, was the fastest rider on Friday, got his lap chalked off. He's made a better starter and he's in this lead group of riders, so he's going to be starting, and he has already made significant progress.
The blue and white machine just behind the 54 of Melgren, the number 46 of Domi Pekkanen, so keep an eye on him moving through. His dad Pauli Pekkanen, of course, next racer himself, is here this weekend supporting his son like he always does, and they said to me yesterday we can climb through the order. Well, they're doing it today for sure in these perfect conditions for racing. Up at the front, Kratochvil still has the advantage ahead of the all-white machine of the 75 of Soroviak, and then it is Kitzbühel who once again finds himself right in the podium battle in the main 3 places. That's going to be brave, 2 in 1. I think in the end he was only trying to get up into P2, and maybe that camera just made it look a little bit closer than what it really was. Not the case of turn 40. This is Siegert and Erlas going head to head, and Roland has come through as well. Durdis is there, Binder's coming through the pair of them. That's getting very tight further back. Fastest lap of the race and the first 2:12 of the weekend for Durdis, who has the number 7 dropped back to 8th place, but has obviously got pace in this race.
Pace has dropped significantly then. There is still in the 2:14s on the last lap, 2:13s mid to low for most of them, then a 2:12 for both Durdis and Binder and Wenzel as well. So the pace has significantly dropped. We're going faster than we were yesterday. A new all-time lap record here in the Northern Talent Cup. That's getting tight. That was Durdis on the 7 machine. It's easy to pick him out. Fluorescent yellow and black machine on the 7. Finished 4th yesterday. Home hero, one of them, of course. He'll be hungry to fight for the podium places and more in this race. He's doing a good job of it as well. Fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, massively. The thing he's got to do, though, is try not to do too much early on. He's got a lot of laps left to go. 7 laps around here at Brno. It's at least another 16 minutes of action in this race. This is up in towards turn 13, latest on the brakes, and I think this was the moment Siegert was just coming under Kitzbühel.
Certainly was. You can see the 11 up the inside of the 38 there. Kitzbühel hanging it around the outside. Fantastic job done from Kitzbühel to defend well into the penultimate corner. Then you tip it onto the right-hand side through turn 14. This is where the race was won yesterday from Kratochvil. Just defended well from Kitzbühel. It was 1-2 then. It's the same 1-2 at this moment in time. But look at the riders lurking in the background. That's Anina Erlas on the 21. Is she going to slip it at the inside of Soroviak? Yes, she is. Top job. She is now into P3 and threatening.
She's into the podium places like she was yesterday, more or less at the same point. She, of course, led the race yesterday, so she'll be looking to do the same again and try and chalk up that first victory in her very young but successful career thus far, as we watch the entire pack, more or less, come through. That's your lead group. Your lead group down to about... Wow, Lukács in 13th place, 1.7 covering your top 13. On the break, Soroviak comes under Erlas, tries to get it on Kitzbühel, cannot. Erlas is going to hang that round the outside, but unfortunately can't get the move done this time around. So another lap is going to be ticked off, and it's another lap with Kratochvil in the lead. Let's keep an eye on the lap times this time around. Yeah, the pace has definitely upped a little bit. We're at 2:13s 5s now. That's a little bit more consistent, at least. Perhaps not the outright pace that we've saw from Durdis a couple of laps ago, but more consistent. Not many riders in that lead group now in the 2:14s. It's all starting to heat up nicely.
Certainly is. Low 2:13s to mid 2:13s is the race pace at this moment in time. So you can just see the pack are just stretched out a bit, and that's the 23 of Pontillo. Unfortunately, it's been a pretty disastrous weekend for the rider who had title aspirations coming into the German GP last weekend, but it's just not worked out for the Belgian at Brno. That's a real shame, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that as well is gonna kind of be the end of any realistic chance of this title race, but we will have to wait and see on that one. Of course, it all depends what happens at the front here, with Finn Kratochvil still leading the charge ahead of Durdis, your home hero, and we could hear the track commentator starting to get a bit lively, and now we know why. We swap back through the pack. This is the Valdemar Melgren number 54 machine. Now, what are we about to see here? This is down towards turn 5, I think. And oh, hello, that's a mudguard that's come off. The mudguard has come off on that Valdemar Melgren 54 Honda, so that'll be slightly disconcerting. He's still in that main group though, so he's doing a good job, the Swede.
Yeah, you can see on the 54 there, there's no mudguard. I mean, the bike's a little bit lighter, so that might end up helping him out, but a little bit of debris lost. Hopefully that's not on the racing line and off the track. The marshals will have sure done a good job to try and clear it if it is, as the pack then builds up nicely. The 46 of Pekkanen in the background. He is with this lead group. As we said, do watch out for the 46 as Durdis takes the lead. Coming up horsepower bill on the number 7. He leads for the first time in this race from Kitzbühel.
Tell you what, you could hear the air horns going off then as well. The crowd are going to be going mental if he can hold this for the next few laps. Durdis it is. Of course he's not going to hold it, because everyone else wants that P1, including Britain's Filip Saroviak, who's just coming through into P1 and he's going to chalk this lap off in the lead of this one. Kitzbühel still finds himself in second. He's going to be getting bored of P2 at this rate, so he comes in second place. Wenzel it is who's come right racing up through into third place. Seeger on the inside on the 11 takes second, that's up from fourth place, and then in fifth place it's Durdis. He's on the extreme inside. Let's see if he can pick up another place. Don't think he could this time around, but look at the lead group. It goes all the way back to Gerlich. If you finish in this group, you're guaranteed to get points, but I have a feeling it's a big caveat if you finish. Up the inside comes Wenzel. He's your latest race leader this time around at turn 3. He went for a very inside line there, lost a lot of corner speed, but he has track position.
So you've seen the group bunch back up again, and there's good reason for that. The likes of Gerlich and Weiskirchil were all in the 2:13s, and some of the others as well. Alessandro Binder down to P11. They're all in 2:13s, and the pace was high to mid 2:14s at the front. Seeger set a 2:15.
There we go. We said it was coming. That's a big crash there. Down and out. That's Kitzbühel, and I think it was Anina Erlas who was on a traditional inside line, and both of them have gone down. So 15 have become 13, and I've got to say that was coming. Unfortunately, it was all getting a little bit hectic up at the front, and turn 5, it is a little bit of a tricky corner. It's downhill, it's off camber, and there is the first collision, and unfortunately for Anina Erlas, her chances of her first NTC victory go begging, and for Kitzbühel, more bad luck in 2025.
Yeah, that's a shame. Both riders back up on their feet, of course. Hopefully they are both okay, but two of the real contenders in this race then down and out of the podium and victory fight with 5 laps to go. That's unfortunate. The group bunching back up again. That's Kratochvil, who is now down outside the podium places, but expect him to start climbing back up the order soon.
Yeah, as they climb up the hill soon, everyone will be taking a breath as well once they've seen all that, as they charge up towards turn 13 and 14. You can see everyone trying to get in the slipstream side by side for the lead. Wenzel it is who's going to come through. That bike's on a hinge, and that bike's not on a racing line. That's going to get him into P1. He was briefly ahead. Saroviak saw it coming, carved back underneath him, and it's another one in the lead for the British rider. Well, this would be something special. I can't remember a British rider with the British flag ever taking victory in the NTC. We could be on for a first here, but there is a lot of racing left, and Kratochvil moving back into the podium positions. He was 4th across the line. He's 3rd at turn 1. Saroviak back to P2. Wenzel assumes control right at the front.
A little bit wide there coming out of turn 1. Is it going to cost him down into turn 3? A hot spot for overtaking. Got a good run initially through turn 2. Kratochvil placed himself well. Seeger of the inside. He moves up to P2, but Wenzel, classy done, hanging around the outside at turn 3, keeps the lead. The number 17 clearly wants to lead from the front here.
He does, and I think he will probably do a lot worse than that. He's obviously seen, or he'll know about what the risks are. He may have seen what happened during this down in towards turn 5. He won't want to put himself in a position where he's at the mercy of everyone else. They come through turn 5 this time around fairly cleanly and through into 6 and 7. It is Seeger. Soroviak! Oh my dearie me! Soroviak, he got it wrong himself, and unfortunately, we were just saying, T.S. Wenzel had hit the front to try and avoid any drama, and he is the innocent victim in that. So another 2 riders in the gravel a lap later. We're down to 11 at the front.
You top 2 over the line, then a down and out in the gravel at turn 7. Wenzel, unfortunately, left with nowhere to go. Soroviak just getting it a little bit wrong there into turn 7. They're both all right, of course, and down they went, unfortunately. So another 2 contenders who are looking really strong for the victory are out of this race.
Such a shame for Philip Soroviak. We did curse him up here. We said he was on for a very strong result, and the City lifted RS machine and rider, well, they're all right, but that is going to be a story of what could have been. Talk us through it, El.
Yeah, so Seeger is leading the way. Soroviak just threatening to move up the inside when there isn't really a gap there, unfortunately. And obviously, Seeger taking his normal racing line as he's entitled to do for the race leader. Soroviak gets it wrong, runs wide, and Wenzel, unfortunately, as I said, is left with nowhere to go. But these guys are on their way. 3 laps to go, and now we've got a great fight at the front.
And look, I thought we heard those air horns going off again. Now you know why. Durdis has moved his way up into contention here. You can see the Czech flag on his helmet. All these riders sporting their nationality at the front of their helmet. It makes it easy to pick out in the fans and also up here in commentary. And Durdis, the home hero, has taken the lead at turn 1, a wide sweeping line, and he's going to hold that all the way through turn 1 and 2. So the number 7 of Durdis is doing a very, very good job indeed. Roman Durdis from the 2nd row of the grid is now leading with 3 laps to go, but we have got a lot more left in the locker here. Cratchittville trying to come through on pulse. It's a Binder who has just ghosted his way back up into the podium places, I've got to say. But we are in for a treat here with just 2.5 laps to go, and we're coming into that sector where we've seen a couple of collisions over the course of the last 2 laps.
Watch out for Viskashil as well on the 79 machine. The same colours, teammate, of course, to Durdis. 2 Czech riders in this victory and podium fight. The Czech fans are going to be loving this. Durdis, of course, we saw yesterday. Viskashil wasn't in that lead group yesterday, but he certainly is now with 2.5 laps to go. We could have a double Czech podium here.
We really could. Check that out. Coming through the exit of turn 7 as we have a look at this, is going back, I think, to the Erlas incident. This is our first time to have a second look at it.
Certainly is. Erlas then slinging it up the inside, and then, yeah, unfortunately, Kitzbühel taking his normal racing line. Difficult one to digest that. I mean, both riders obviously battling for the positions. Erlas at fault, she can probably see what's happening, but it wasn't too much of an aggressive move, let's say. Just 2 riders fighting for the same piece of line. Erlas was getting it stopped, but just a little bit of a collision, unfortunately. Yeah,
the incident is going to be reviewed after this race, so we will bring you any updates. Stay tuned to the NTC social medias and website, and we'll have a full results and investigation, and if there is any change, you'll find it there. The air horns are still going off. That's because the number 7 is leading the way. Roman Durdis then up in towards turn 13 with just a little over 2 laps to go, and he's going to lead them through again. Flicking it right into 14. Binder has moved up into 2nd. Seeger 3rd. Back to 4th for your championship leader, Cratchittville. And then 5th is Tom Rowling. Oh, that's getting tight. He was almost in the gravel there for Binder. He led across the line. How many abreast? Pick any line. Anyone will do. Up the inside. Cratchittville's trying to come back into the podium positions. But look at Durdis. He's going round the outside of Binder, your pole sitter. Is he gonna get that done? Surely not. Yes, he is. Or is he? Oh, who knows where to look here. Down towards turn 3. I tell you what, Durdis is fearless coming through that turn 1. He hangs it on the outside and rides right round. So fantastic stuff from the home hero, who leads in his home Grand Prix weekend here A lap and a half to go, El. It's time to start taking stock of this and taking breath up here in commentary.
Certainly is. This is the time where the likes of Crutcherville would want to place themselves higher up the order. We saw this yesterday. Crutcherville placed himself perfectly in the last couple of laps, and he went on to win the race. Contact there, I think.
Melgren and Gertlich, I think,
yeah,
was
exactly. I think it is. But it's Durd still leading the way. Crutcherville doing the Soroviak line into turn 7. Didn't quite get it done, but got it stopped importantly. But you can tell that Crutcherville really wants to lead this race. He had a long look behind him a couple of laps ago and saw a face full of his rivals, about 10 of them in this group. So he'll be knowing that there's a gaggle of riders all waiting and really hungry to fight for that podium and potentially victories as well. But Durd still leads the way, 1.5 laps to go.
Careful with the green on that last lap as well. Race direction, take a very dim view of exceeding track limits and gaining an advantage on that final lap. But so far, so good for Roman Durdis through the Schwantz corner. We are just about over a lap and a sector away until we get results on this one. Look at Valdemar Melgren. He's trying to come through on the number 54 and into the top 6 on Tamas Lukac, and I think he got the job done at turn 12. So Melgren, the super Swede, is moving right the way through the order, and that has left Lukac down in 7th, but up over the hill for the penultimate time. Breaking duel. Siegert's coming through. Will he get it stopped this time? Looks like he's just about done enough. That could be interesting. If you're going to show your hand, don't do it with a lap to go, because everyone else will be looking to do the same. On to the start and finish straight. We are in the last lap here of NTC. Race 2 at Brno. Will it be home glory, or is it going to be your title contenders Siegert and Kratzville, who make their way to the front of this, that are at the front come the end of the next 5.5 kilometres?
So you watch out for that on the last lap. Up horsepower hill. Durdis had a good 2/10 lead, but he got swallowed up into turn 13 and into 14. It's now Siegert who leads the way for the first time, I think, in this race on number 11. He's been pretty patient in that group. How long is he going to lead for, though? Crutcherville shadowing a move at the inside. Durdis back into P3.
It was bumpy on the entry to turn 3 there. You could see the chatter going for everyone in that lead group. It really is a little bit tight, but it is at the moment Siegert who has the advantage. It's a German one too. Roman Durdis, he's never had a podium. He'll be looking to try and make it P1. He's there in 3rd at the moment. 4th for Binder, your pole sitter, likewise going for victory. And in 5th place, Tom Rowland. Well, he's been a winner before. Can he be a winner again? Oh, he's coming up the inside. That was a Binder, so Binder moves back another place. You really don't want to be outside the top 4 going into the last sector. Kratzville having a look up the inside of Siegert, but Siegert leading very, very well at the moment.
Awesome move that from Rowland. Pick the pocket up there at turn 7. Great move. Now, though, it's into the final couple of sectors. Down the hill into Kevin Schwantz corner. Contact there.
Binder.
Couldn't quite make sure who it was. I think it was Binder. Yes, you're right. But it's 3 abreast down into turn 10. Who's going to lead into it? Siegert hangs it around the outside. Brilliant stuff from the number 11. He holds on to the lead.
We're at the Schwantz corner for the final time, and we are climbing back up the hill. This is 11 and 12 incoming next. We thought Durdis had a look at the inside. The last time around at turn 10, he couldn't get it done, and now he finds himself poached. It is Binder who does the poaching up into the podium positions, but it could all change as we rise to the final 2. Overtaking opportunities here at Brno. Siegert versus Kratzville. Who's it going to be on the brakes? Siegert. Oh my dear me, the front end was going everywhere there. Pick a line. Oh, Durdis gets shoved out by Siegert. Binder's under the pair of them. This is going to be Kratzville's, I'm sure. Is Roman Durdis going to be on the home podium? He is. Behind your championship leader. It's 8 on the bike. It is 8 in 2025. Victory for Finn Kratzville, but a home podium for Roman Durdis and Binder, like yesterday, P3.
How good is Kratzville on the final lap? Just places himself inch perfectly and wins the race by 0.3 of a second. Fantastic stuff once again for the number 8. Clearly, far and away, the best rider in this field on the last lap, of course. And he's just running away with this title chase. And fantastic stuff from Durdis. I thought he was just going to miss out once again in that real heavy battle for the podium places at the final 2 corners. There's a P4 coming into the final corner, I should say. P4, sorry, P2 coming out of it, over the line. Fantastic stuff from the Czech rider to clinch a debut podium, and what a way to do it at Brno in front of tens of thousands of Czech fans as well.
Fantastic stuff indeed. Seeger, how he managed to stay on at turn 13. He had about 3 front-end moments, all in the same corner. Absolutely remarkable. I am sure we're going to have another look at that. Kratochvil, once that had happened, I think he knew where he was going, but Roman Durdis, well, he'll remember this for the rest of his life. It's a podium at home, and you can see the smoke bomb. The crowd have gone absolutely mental, and Roman Durdis, a superhero here, just outside of the podium. Tom Rowling takes 4th ahead of Valdemar Melgren. That's a career best for Sweden in 5th place. Seeger led into 13, 6th over the line. Lukács, Viskachil, Emprin and Pekkanen comes through to complete the top 10. Look at the array of nationalities. Once again, Germany ahead of the Czech Republic, Switzerland, Belgium, Sweden, another German, Hungary, a second Czech up inside the top 8, a French and a Finnish. The Northern Talent Cup is delivering in every possible way, not just records for Kratochvil, but in terms of putting a pathway up on the road to MotoGP.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself, Kiko.
Oh, I think you could have at the end there.
Goosebumps watching Durdis come around, that stadium section filling up nicely, the Czech fans obviously giving their young uprising heroes a hero's welcome, it has to be said. Goosebumps here. That must be a phenomenal feeling for Durdis to come into the famous stadium section. He'll have dreamt of this, he'll be dreaming of bigger things, of course, in the future. A real star from the Czech Republic, and great to see Viskachil as well, finishing less than a second off the race win to put 2 Czech riders inside that top 10. Fantastic way to start Grand Prix Sunday here at the Automotodrome Brno, and just a brilliant final last lap and a brilliant race all around. But it is the number 8 once again who just rises to the top come the end of the race, like he's done so often. An 8th win of the season for the number 8, and he is going to be the Northern Talent Cup winner in 2025. It's a matter of when and not if.
Exactly. The thing that's so impressive about Kratochvil, it's not the wins, it's how he wins. It's how he attacks on the last lap. He stays out of trouble, he keeps his powder dry, and he's got pace in his back pocket, and he's got such confidence to leave it late. It takes a lot for a rider to do that.
Just placing yourself in the best position in the last couple of laps when there's, well, 11 riders at the end there all fighting for the podium places, and he's just got the nous to put himself in the right place at the right time, make a last lap move when he needs to, gets the final 2 corners absolutely nailed, and then comes out on top once again. Saw it yesterday, saw it again today. Brilliant stuff. And there's Filip Salac down there, of course, who is heavily involved, the SF12 racing team. Filip Salac 12, of course, the home hero in Moto2 this weekend. Great for Salac, great for the Czech fans, and great for Durdis to get their first podium of the season. This is going to be fantastic stuff on the podium at Brno as a Czech rider. Does not get any better.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to come back every year now, won't he? We're going to have another look at this. This is in the last corner. We just missed Seeger having his massive moment coming in there. I think this is a couple of laps ago, actually. Yeah. This isn't the last lap. So Seeger is leading at this point. Durdis is there right behind in 2nd place. But really, it is just pick any line, any number, because at the end of the day, a little bit of luck is also involved. This is coming through turns 3 and 4, coming on to the last lap, and I think if the sequence is how I imagine it to be, we're going to get the last corner. Look at Seeger's front wheel here. Wait for it. Once, twice, and then he runs wide. Kratochvil knows what he's doing, and Valdemar Melgren was almost in pit lane coming up the inside there. So no wonder the Swede came into 5th place by the checkered flag. This is another angle.
Yeah, a slow-mo, yeah. Front end tucks once, the chatter on the front end is going, holds on to it, the rear end then tries to step out as Seeger tries to ask for a little bit of the gas on the rear end, and you can not even see Durdis in the frame there on the number 7 machine. He runs out a little bit wide, but then gets the cut back through the final corner and gets a good run out of turn 13 turn 14, sorry, and there he is winning the race to the line. Cratchitsville already away and clear at that stage, and you can see no one behind him there. Can tell you there is a huge gaggle of riders on the right-hand side of your picture, and he is in disbelief at winning once again. That was a great battle at the front. He had to work for it, of course, but came out on top.
It's remarkable. That photo finish was for second. You could have been anyone. It could have really been anyone out that last corner. It's unfortunate that Robin Seeger ends up down in 6th place, actually.
Certainly is, and as we said about yesterday's racing, it's such close action. One tiny mistake, and it wasn't really much of a mistake. He was just braking late into the penultimate corner, got a little bit of front end chatter, saved a little front end moment, but of course when there's 6, 7, 8, 9 riders behind you all hunting for a podium and trying to fight for position, then you can easily lose 4 or 5 places, which unfortunately for Seeger is exactly what happened. Of course, more points lost in the race for the title, but I'm pretty sure that is pretty much all done and dusted.
Seeger had to go for it, but at the end of the day, he had to run it up the inside and see if he could get it stopped. Unfortunately, he couldn't, and he ends up 6th. But once again, Finn Cratchitsville, well, he is a dominant force. The number 8, it is 8 wins in 2025, another record number. Roman Durdis on the podium at home, fine in 2nd. Binder, a copy and paste from yesterday, in 3rd. Rowling completing the top 4, as I say, ahead of Valdemar Melkvin in a career best 5th. Seegert, Lukács, Viskachil, Pekkanen gets 9th. Emprin is dropped down to 10th place. I just wonder if that wasn't exceeding track limits. It was indeed on the last lap for Swan Emprin. So disaster there for the Frenchman. Smila Gertlich coming through for 11th. Nyland from pit lane in 12th. The first points of his career for Victor Czech. Bulte and Dedea completing your point scoring finishes, and a lot of DNFs too. Well, have a look at this. The gap is now 76. That can be 1 next time out if it all goes wrong for Robin Seegert, and if it all goes right for Finn Cratchitsville. But, of course, a lot of ifs, buts and maybes. TS Wenzel is now out of title contention. It is a 2-horse race. We have 4 races remaining in 2025. He's 110 back. There's only 100 up for grabs. All the way down through the order, lots and lots of improvers, as you can see, and all the way down. A couple of riders also dropping a few places, but that's to be expected in the Northern Talent Cup because it is just so chaotic out there, and it is very, very high adrenaline. And that's only up here in commentary as well. All the way down, 25 point scoring finishers. Dean Hoove, the last one in 25th. Now, we should be getting the national anthem this time. Whether someone's found the cassette player or not remains to be seen. But at least Finn Cratchitsville is the winner this time, so whoever's job it is to make sure the anthem gets belted out gets a second chance to get the national anthem of Germany underway. Yeah, let's hope so. It's a great national anthem for them as well to sing around the Automotodrom Brno here on a fine Sunday morning. There is Filip Salac with the Czech flag, of course. He'll be holding that and standing on the same podium a little bit later on this afternoon when the Moto 2 race gets underway at 12:15 local time, and you can hear the cheers in the background. What a moment for Roman Durdis. Phenomenal stuff. Finished agonisingly close to a podium yesterday, but he stood on it today, the Czech home hero. That famous podium here at Brno, P2. He would have wanted P1, of course, but let's not take anything away from Durdis. A fantastic P2, and he's unfortunately coming up against an in-form Finn Cratchitsville. It's his rookie season, and he's on the podium at home in just his 10th start. So Roman Durdis has a very large future ahead of him. We're going to get the trophy ceremony now, and it is, of course, Filip Salac who is on trophy handing out duty. It's a P3 for Alessandro Binder. He can go home happy, can't he? Back to Lucerne, a pole position this weekend and a double podium. Filip Salac, well, he climbs on the podium maybe a little bit prematurely there. He's got to, of course, go for it himself in Moto 2, but a fine effort from Roman Durdis. But can anyone stop Finn Cratchitsville? He's going to have to move house at this rate, the 14-year-old, to put all his trophies in one place. Hold your breath, the German national anthem should be next. We get an extra long version, having missed it yesterday. We get the German national anthem in full. Elliot, the Northern Talent Cup, it hurtles onwards, but this weekend at Brno, another double for Kratochvil, but a lot of sporting stories to digest.
Absolutely, yeah, great podium to round off a good couple of weekends alongside the Grand Prix stars. Philip Salach, one of them, of course. Just brilliant racing at the Saxon Ring, great racing again at Brno, and on to the Nürburgring they go for the penultimate round of the season, where Finn Kratochvil could be crowned the title winner.
Yes, and to do it on home soil could be a lot worse, couldn't it? We'll leave you with the highlights then, and of course, Grand Prix Sunday coming up. Moto 3 at 11 o'clock local time, 12:15 for Moto 2 and 2 o'clock Moto GP. You can be in the company of Jack Appleyard in pit lane, Lewis Sotheby up here in commentary, and of course the legend that is Matt Burt. But for myself, Kiko Giles and Elliot York, we're out of here. Northern Talent Cup though continues 6th to the 7th of September. The Nürburgring, it is now the title on the line. Goodbye.